Who is the author of 3 Days to See? Helen Keller. Who is Helen Keller unable what is Helen Keller unable to do? See. What sense does Helen Keller mainly rely on? Touch. What does she feel on the bark of a pine tree? Roughness. What sign of spring does she look for? A bird. What does Helen sometimes feel on a tree? A bird quivering in song. What is her heart's greatest longing? To see. How many days does she imagine being able to see? 3. What does she want to see first? Her friends. How does she recognize her friends? By touching their faces. What does she call the eye? The window of the soul. What transformation does she want to witness on a day to, night into day? What does she admire in the dawn? The light of the sun. Where does she wish to go to understand man's progress? Museum. What would she see in the museum? History of the earth. What animals does she mention from the past? Dinosaurs and mastodons. What quality of man does she admire? His powerful brain. What does she want to observe on the third day? Daily life of people. Where does she go on the third day? The city. What does she see at the street corner? People. What emotion does a smile bring her? Happiness. What does a serious face make her feel? Pride. What emotion does she feel when she sees suffering? Compassion. When does darkness return in her imagination? Midnight. What advice does she give to sighted people? Use your eyes well. What does she compare tomorrow to for the sighted? Being stricken blind. What sense should one use carefully besides the sight? Hearing. What sound should be heard as if for the last time? A bird's song. What sense is used to feel objects? Touch. What sense is used to smell flowers? Smell. What does she say about taste? Relish each morsel. What should people glory in? The beauty of the world. What does she say about all senses? Make the most of them. Which sense does she think is the most delightful? Sight. What kind of tone does she use? Reflective. What does she touch in spring? Branches. How does she describe the silver beach skin? Smooth. How does she describe the pine bark? Saggy. Why does she visit the museum? To see the past and progress. What is the purpose of her 3 day plan? To appreciate vision. What does she emphasize about using senses? Use them fully. What does she want others to realize? The value of their senses. What theme is central to the essay? Appreciation of life. What does Helen Keller inspire people to do? Be grateful. How does she see emotions? Through touch. What does she consider a miracle? Dawn. How does she feel when imagining seeing? Excited and thoughtful. What does she feel for nature? Love. How does she describe human history? a pageant of progress. What is her final message? Value and enjoy your senses.